Everybody, it's me, your buddy Dave from thedarkstuff.com and the Dark Stuff channel here on YouTube. Just here with a quick video, quick by my standards, a quick review of an amazing Living Color show I saw last night. I wasn't even going to review this show, I was just going to let it slide, but man, it was so good, I had to make a video about it. All right, just heading out right now to go see Living Color. It's going to be my fourth time seeing the band. I saw them twice in the 90s, including the first ever Lollapalooza. And seeing them once in the 2000s, Halloween in 2013. I just remember that because it was Halloween and they wore costumes and shit. So anyways, I'm super excited for this show. I have no idea about this venue, Barnato. Never been there. It's actually a Bentley dealership and a concert venue. I don't know. I'll report later. So Living Color has been a favorite band of mine going back to the late 80s when I first got into them. Of course, I was in high school when Living Color Vivid came out. It was a massive album. I saw them open for the Rolling Stones that year in 1989, and I made a funny video about it, although it has nothing to do with Living Color. It has more to do with me getting stranded in Oakland, California at that particular Rolling Stones Living Color show. But it's funny nonetheless. I'll link to it below. So as a longtime fan, it was pretty much a given I was going to go see them when they came through Omaha. The only thing is, you know, Living Color are road dogs, okay? They tour a lot. And when a veteran band that's sort of at their level tours a lot, sometimes they're the headliner and sometimes they're the opener. And kind of like Cheap Trick, you know, Cheap Trick does a lot of that, where one night they're the headliner, one night they're the opener, depending on where they are and whatever. And with a band like Living Color, and same with Cheap Trick, you know, I just don't want to see an abridged set. I don't want to see them just do 40 minutes or 45 minutes because that's just not enough. They have to leave so much stuff to the side when they do those shows. Living Color is currently out on tour as the opening act for 90s hard rock band Extreme. I'm not a fan of that band. I mean, I know Nuno Betancourt's like a talented guitar player and whatnot, but just never really been into that band. Okay, so fortunately, the show I saw was a night off from the Extreme tour, so they were able to do a headline show, and they played about 2 hours. They were really able to stretch it out. It was just, man, my ears are still kind of ringing, but I am just buzzing from how good the show was. So the show was kind of a last minute announcement. I mean, maybe 2-3 weeks before show date, it came up. And nowhere did it say that they were doing their third album, Stain, pretty much start to finish. Like, they celebrated a 30th anniversary of that record last year. And by the way, this is just a fucking incredible album. I mean, I love it. But it wasn't a hit record for them. Like, their first two records did a lot better, and they ended up breaking up after the third album. I mean, they got back together a few years later, obviously. So as I said earlier, this venue called Barnato is inside of a Bentley car dealership. Believe it or not, okay? And it's not because people in Omaha have so much disposable income that everybody's riding around in Bentleys, okay? I've never seen a Bentley out on the street in Omaha ever, right? But it is inside of a dealership. But when you go in, it's kind of closed off. Like, couldn't even see where the cars were at first. So, you know, you walk in the front door and the stage is immediately to your left, and then there's tables to the right, and, you know, the crowd kind of goes in. And, well, actually what's behind you is a glass window that's covered with a drape, and that was the showroom for the cars. All things considered, though, it was a pretty nice spot. It's pretty small. Like, you walk in and it looks really crowded, but that's because it's just kind of a narrow thing. It's like long and narrow, and maybe 200 people there. It will make it look incredibly packed. Opening the show was a St. Louis trio called Radkey, and I do have some clips for them because they were really good, but I'm going to put them after the Living Color stuff, so I'll get to that afterwards. I perched myself right in front, just feet from where I knew Vernon Reid was going to be, because I looked down at his pedal board, which is insane. Almost not as insane as the bass player's rig, because I couldn't see from over there. Like, I was on the opposite side, so I didn't really get a picture of it. But he had a pretty insane pedal thing too. Like, those guys have so much fucking equipment. It's unbelievable. So the band opens the show with their tribute to the late Wayne Kramer from MC5, and they do Kick Out the Jams. They do a stunning version of it. Then they just burst right into doing the Stain record. So they're out there doing, Go Away, Ignorance is Bliss, Leave It Alone. Now, there was no actual commentary about the songs, and I thought maybe they would, because their song Auslander, which is on the album, it's a great song, and it's about sort of the immigrant experience. And there's a line in it where he says, everything that I want isn't everything that you've got. Okay? An explanation that I'm just here for a better life. I'm not here to take from you. And I think it's incredibly timely, even though the song is 31 years old. They played it, but no comment on it. I mean, they just sort of did the song as they did with most of the records. There weren't really any commentary about the lyrics. They did a little tribute to, I don't know if it was a tribute to Sinead or to Prince, but they did a cover of Nothing Compares to You, and with Corey Glover's voice. It was fucking phenomenal. One of the really surprising things that I never knew about Living Colour was that their bass player, Doug Wimbish, he came into the band for this record, right? They had another guy named Muzz Skillings who played on the first two, and then he came in for this record and has been with them ever since. I knew he had a history as a session guy, and I believe that him and Vernon Reid actually met when they were working with Mick Jagger in the 80s, doing session work. But he pointed out that he plays the bass on a lot of the old Sugar Hill Records tracks, the earliest rap songs from the late 70s. That's him on the bass on those tracks. And so then Living Colour did a little medley of like classic hip hop from like Grandmaster Flash and like all this super cool shit. And it's like, I never knew that. I never knew he was affiliated with that stuff. Like, that's incredible, Let me tell you on a side note, you haven't seen Funny till you've seen a room full of like 40, 50, 60-year-old overweight white guys dancing around to like, The Message by Grandmaster Flash. I can only imagine what was going through the guys in the band's heads, but it was pretty comical from my perspective. So my all-time favorite Living Colour song, at least so far, is a song called Type. It's on their second album called Time's Up, and I was really hoping they were going to play it. And they went through the entire set and it hadn't been played. And then all of a sudden, they're doing this song and I don't recognize it. It was Type. It was like they were playing it so fast, and it was like until the lyric came in. Because what I really love about that song is I think that's the best guitar riff that Vernon Reid has ever done, and then one of the best in rock. I think it's just so stellar. But the riff sounded different, right? Well, then his guitar kicks out, like his wireless thing, and he loses the guitar sound, so the band stops. And they're like, okay, shit. So the roadie comes out, they fix it, and then he's like, all right, from the top. And they started it over, so I got to hear my favorite song 1.5 times, which was pretty cool. openers were a trio from St. Louis called Radkey. They've been around for a while. I've seen them before. They did the Omaha Festival one year when I worked it, and I remember thinking they were all right, you know. But last night they were incredible. They were so good. And I didn't know any of their music. I don't have any of their records. I did remember some of the lines from a song, and then I kind of Googled it, and it turns out it's a song called PAW. And man, that song was a powerful tune. Those guys were really, really good. All right, friends, pretty much going to wrap it up here. Go see Living Colour if you get the chance. Play one of their albums. Listen to Stain, by the way, even if you have to stream it or whatever. The album is so good, and it just didn't get the attention it deserved 31 years ago, and it should definitely be reevaluated. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
So, you have a MySpace page or something?